Hello, this is BrickGamer73 and welcome back to my channel. Now today I want to talk about one of my favourite game franchises of all time, and that is the much underrated Dead to Rights. Now Dead to Rights is a third person action game produced by Namco. It was released on June 3rd, 2002 as a timed exclusive for the Xbox, and releases for the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo GameCube followed soon after. A year after its console debut, the game was released for Microsoft Windows. It was followed by Dead to Rights 2 in 2004 and Dead to Rights Retribution on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in 2010. Other releases include Dead to Rights on the Game Boy Advance, which was a top-down shooter and sort of loosely based around the original Dead to Rights console game. Also there was Dead to Rights The Reckoning, which was released on the PSP in June 2005. And this serves as a prequel to Dead to Rights 2. The main plot focuses on Jack Slate, a police officer, partnered with a canine unit called Shadow. The two of them patrol Grand City, a metropolis seemingly populated with more criminals than honest citizens. Now one night on a routine call, Jack responds to a call to a construction zone only to find his own father murdered. In pursuit of the father's killer, Jack is led through a labyrinth of crime and corruption, and is eventually framed himself for the murder. Now on this journey for Jack to prove his innocence and avenge his father's murder, he has to traverse through various locales throughout the city, taking down the bad guys, including one level in a prison, where he even manages to escape the electric chair. Now the gameplay in Dead to Rights makes use of the popular bullet time game mechanic, and one really neat feature in the game is the fact that the player is accompanied by his canine partner Shadow, whom Jack can order to attack enemies on command. Shadow is an integral part of the game. He will automatically kill whatever enemy he is aimed at, and then bring back the player whatever the enemy was carrying. Now to prevent the dog from being too powerful within the game, a Shadow meter depletes, and then the dog can only be used again once this meter has replenished over time. In some puzzle sections, the player actually takes direct control of Shadow to reach areas of the game that the human character cannot. Now this was a great first entry into the series, and many people compare this game to Max Payne, which is easy to see why, as they have a very similar premise. Now this game was far from perfect, and it did have very dated visuals even for the time that it was released. But I'm not too sure. I had a lot of fun with this game, especially when it was first released. And I think it was one of the most underrated franchises released for that generation of consoles. In April 2005, Namco released Dead to Rights 2, and this actually served as a prequel to Dead to Rights. The plot in the sequel centres around the kidnap of a reputable judge. Now the judge was a friend of Jack's father, so the cop is obligated to send a few hundred men to their graves in order to make things right. Now before long all hell breaks loose, and Jack and his canine sidekick Shadow go on another one of their murderous rampages to free the city of betrayal and corruption. Now gameplay wise, this is almost identical to the first game, but hey, if it ain't broke, why fix it? The game is a ballet of bullets and death, accompanied by a lot of blood as Shadow maws lots and lots of people to death. Once again, I had absolutely fantastic time playing this game and totally enjoyed it from the beginning to the end. It's absolutely true that it was just more of the same, but then Dead to Rights never set out to rewrite any gaming formulas. As mentioned before, this game was released along with a PSP title called Dead to Rights The Reckoning, and this was kind of a mini version of Dead to Rights, where you could play sort of small levels and little bite-sized chunks. Now this could get a little bit tricky at times if you've only got one analog stick on a PSP, but the game was still a lot of fun. I remember taking this away on holiday with me one year and just spending loads and loads of time next to the pool, shooting bad guys and getting Shadow to rip their throats out. It was almost like having Max Payne on the move. Now released in 2010 on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, Dead to Rights Retribution was the third proper game in the series. This game was kind of a reboot of the original game. Now although the plot is significantly different from the first game, it still does feature the death of Jack's father, and a plot including various criminal organisations within Grand City, including the Triad. Now the gameplay was sort of significantly ramped up in this game with many new elements added to it. Gone was the awkward kind of 1 or 2 button bashing of the original hand-to-hand combat, and it was replaced with a more kind of combo system where you engage in different combos to perform different moves. Also the gunplay was significantly tightened up, but the main feature in this game which was upgraded was the use of Shadow the dog. The game contains some excellent stealth sections where you control Shadow, who creeps around various environments taking out bad guys. Shadow also possesses some kind of doggy sense in which he can detect enemies through walls. Now once again, this game had sort of fair to middling reviews, but I just had so much fun playing this game. I mean, I know that the story was a little bit tacky and overall the game was very dated, but the action really drove the narrative forward, and the varying different styles of play meant the game never really got stale or boring. Now unfortunately, due to the poor sales of the last game, it's probably very unlikely that we'll ever see another Dead to Rights game. And that's a shame, because the pairing of Jack and his sidekick Shadow complemented each other perfectly within this genre of game, and it's about the best use of a dog that I've seen in any game, and far outshone the use of Riley the dog in Call of Duty Ghosts as a useful sidekick. Hence we will probably never see another Dead to Rights again. In a world that's gone mad with political correctness, it's nice to see an old-fashioned cop kicking down doors and taking names, while reinforcing the idea of a dog as man's best friend.
Take that, you motherfucker!
Once again, thanks for watching the channel. Please subscribe and please click like, and I'll be back with another video soon.